Hey, today I'm going to be walking you through how to set up a trekking pole tent. It's actually surprisingly easy if you follow the steps that I'm about to give. Got the trekking pole tent here. This is a brand new one. Got my poles, and I want to talk for just a quick second about site selection because that is a part of this. You want to find a nice flat spot, but mainly you want to have just enough space. Sometimes having a little bit extra space will make this easier, especially the first few times that you pitch it. Today we have a lot of wind. So it's gonna work out really well for you guys to see how I would pitch this when the weather conditions aren't always the best. So let me get this pulled out and get the stakes out. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is locate the door. Looks like that's the back half, and here is the door. Now this is a single person model, so I wanna locate the door on a double. You'll have two doors, it'll be a symmetrical piece. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the corner that is facing the wind the most and try to lay this out and stake that piece in. So, fortunately, the wind is coming from not the most ideal position, so I'm going to have to maybe take a guess right here on where to go. You'll notice that this tie right here, this is a little bit long because this is still a prototype, but I've got about 25% of it pulled through that loop. That's how I would recommend doing all of the sides on initial setup. Okay, so we just got this one pounded in. Because it's a trekking pole tent, it is really important that you have pretty solid stakes in the ground. So that is just something to note, but that one is in there quite secure. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get the other four corners, again, keeping them a little bit loose at this point in time. When we pull those trekking poles into the shelter, it will take away some of that slack. So I like to leave these loose for now. Again, this weather isn't making it super easy, but what I'm looking for when I'm pulling this line is I'm not looking to pull it at a straight 45 off of this curve. I'm looking to kind of see this seam right here and pull just a little bit outside of it. So about this angle here works the best. This is, there we go. Okay, so keep that a little bit loose. Now we're gonna go ahead and pop the tent poles in. At this point in time, if you've done this loose, you can reposition your tent just a little bit. So I am noticing that on that side, we're a little bit close to some bigger rocks. So I'm actually gonna kind of tighten this side, loosen that side so that I can position it. Now that's why leaving about 25% is helpful, because it allows you to slide the tent one way or the other before you final pitch it up. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna start on the door side. So I'm gonna set this one right here to 117 centimeters. And that should be about the same on the two-person. Slide it right up in there. And on the bottom, you're gonna find this tab. So you can slide the bottom straight into there. Try to line it up. And then grab this guy line here and stake this out. Make sure that this inner cord is not tight at this point in time, or it will look funny on your pitch. And I'm gonna just basically tighten this up till it looks like it's vertical and go to the other side. All right, so on this side, set it to 105. We'll prop it in here. Get it right there in that reinforced pocket. Find the bottom here. Line it up roughly. And stake it out. Now, in perfect weather situations, it's really good, and it's really possible, I should say, to get the pitch perfect. Now, where it's extra windy and you're getting some of that extra movement the whole time, now is a good time to just walk around the tent, take a look at your pitch, and then you'll look at the extra guy outlines. All right, so everything looks pretty good here. I wanted to note one thing. If you look at this side, you'll see it's pitched a little bit lower to the ground versus this side over here, you've got a little bit more gap. Now, that can just happen when the ground isn't perfectly level. That's something you can't expect. What you can do to try to combat that is you can sometimes lengthen the pole just a hair. If you are lengthening it, you may have to pull it out of the little grommet, but that will help you get a little bit higher pitch if you're too afraid that your corners are just too close to the ground. These all look just fine, so I'm gonna go ahead and roll with this. And now I'm gonna look at where I'm taking wind or where I wanna have these additional tie points. Starting with the two end ones, these ones right here are going to give you extra body inside of the tent. So down here by your feet and by your head, by pulling these out, they raise the usable space in here.
Definitely some rocky soil.
Okay, so just gonna snug this up. You see how much slack there is in that? You want it to have some slack so that it's not gonna pull that eyelet out, but more so when the wind comes and takes load, that's when this will take the pressure, but you'll see it'll still pull that end out and increase that usable space. The other way that you can potentially use this is actually to use something as leverage to pull it at a slightly higher angle. So if you go find a dead stick around your camp or something like that, you can then position this to be higher, about parallel with the ground, and then pull this a little bit tighter. What that's gonna do is it's going to pull this a little bit higher angle and create just a little bit more usable space inside of that tent. Now the last step of this is going to be to use this storm point right here that you can move throughout the tent. What's really cool about these and the design of this is these can be clipped to all different sides of your tent, so you can move them depending on wherever you're taking the wind or where you expect to take the wind. Right now we're taking a lot of the wind right here on this front corner. Simply put, you take this snap right here, snap it right onto that point, and now you've got a movable, detachable guy line. And then I'm just going to get this stake, pound it in, and now you've got an extra load carrying piece on this panel right here, which helps a lot in inclement weather or windy conditions. That's it. As with any tent, I do recommend you set this up at least one time at home to get the feel of it and to take some of that pressure off when you get out here into the field so that you can set it up quickly and efficiently and enjoy your experiences. Thanks guys for tuning in. Let us know if you have any questions.